a longer losing streak right now? Trevor Lawrence or Damonza's teasers? Can the producers look this up? Welcome in. What's Right with Nick Wright, episode 265.
Show started.
I know, I know, but now I had no. Oh, by the way, we were having a good conversation, but I've got some news for you, Damonza. As I'm walking out the door, your mother says to me, "And tell my son I'm looking for him." I'm like, "What do you mean you're looking for him?" She was like, "I haven't talked to him recently enough." So you might want to get on that after the podcast. Yeah. Sorry, we were having a great conversation. Sorry to kind of hit you with a little kind of 1-2 combo, mocking the gambling, and then your mom coming after you. Speaking of did you see the video that was going around? I think it was probably a lot of people didn't see it. My algorithm probably sends me more of this, but it was Chiefs players being asked like the viral TikTok question of the day. And it was, when's the last time you talked to your mother? And like the first 9 guys were like, this morning, last night. One guy was like, oh man, I didn't call her this morning. Hold on, I'm going to call her right now. And it kind of reminds you how young these guys are. They're 21, 22, 23 years old. But I honestly think it might be my fault that your mom said that, because I showed her that video recently. And so she might have been feeling some. She was like, oh, my son doesn't call me every morning. One guy was like, I do my prayers and I call my mom. And I'm like, okay, this kid was built in a lab. Like, this guy's a pro athlete. He wakes up every morning, does his prayers, and calls his mother. Like, has he ever made a mistake? All right, if it sounds like I'm filibustering to avoid discussing Trevor Lawrence, I might be. This is episode 265. Here's what's didn't make the shows. Malik Neighbors, just an unbelievable player. Unbelievable. Bo and the Broncos beat Baker and the Bucks. That's well done with the alliteration. And Christian McCaffrey, seeing a specialist in Germany, that usually means there are certain procedures, like I think it's PRP, platelet-rich plasma, that is legal in Germany, that is harder to do over here. Kobe did it. Other guys have done it. So usually when you go to Germany, it's to see a specialist for some stuff that you can't do as easily in the United States. It's usually effective. It also shows this might be a pretty significant or concerning injury for it to be week 3, and he's like, I got to go to Germany to check this out. But none of that is the lead. The Chiefs are not the lead. The Cowboys' loss is not the lead, because we had a Monday Night Football doubleheader that all 4 teams involved have serious implications for what happened last night, for how we're going to view this season. So, Damonza, let's start with the game that ended last and the game that had the most intrigue, the Bengals and Washington. Go ahead.
So the Bengals obviously just lost to Washington last night. We might have found some identities there. We spent all week talking about what would happen if my Ravens went 0-3, but it turned out we had the wrong AFC North team. After starting 0-3 this year, are you ready to say that the Bengals are cooked?
So here's where I think my own bias is the wrong word. It might be the right word, but it implies the wrong thing. I'm not biased towards the Bengals because I like them, but I think I might be biased in a positive way towards the Bengals because I respect how well they play the Chiefs so much that I might be overrating who they've been the last season and a quarter. Last year, we wrote them off early because Joe Burrow was clearly not healthy. Now, they did end up rallying, and then Joe Burrow got hurt again, and they were done. This year is something different altogether. They have lost 3 games in 3 very unique ways. They lose to the Patriots in week 1, when they simply cannot get the ball in the end zone. They lose to the Chiefs in week 2 when they play really well and just get beat by the champs at the very end because a rookie makes a mistake with the pass interference. And then they lose to the Commanders last night because Jaden Daniels, more on him in a moment, has quite literally, arguably, not definitively, but arguably, the greatest game any rookie quarterback has ever had. The Bengals had no turnovers, had no punts, and they lost to Washington. So here's my problem, Damonza. One of the reasons I was so much more concerned about the Ravens than I was the Bengals was because of the schedule. Because who the Ravens had coming up, the Ravens had the Cowboys and then the Bills before they play Cincinnati, while the Bengals had Washington and then Carolina before they play Baltimore. Well, you've now lost to Washington. And while I believe you're going to beat Carolina, what I think is this. Because after Carolina, they get the Giants, and after the Giants, they get Cleveland. And I understand folks right now might be like, Nick, they're 0-3. Stop talking about them like they're a good team. It's impossible for me to believe a Cincinnati team with a healthy Joe Burrow, a healthy Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins coming back is not going to be dynamic offensively. So I am not going to write off the Bengals. I am not going to say they are finished because they have a very real chance of a month from now being 3-4 just by beating three of the worst teams in football. Carolina, New York, and Cleveland.
Carolina's
now, I get it.
Right now, though.
I think that was temporary rejuvenation. That's a fair point, but I think that was temporary rejuvenation, in part caused by playing the Raiders, and in part caused by the momentary lift of we're not having Bryce play quarterback for us anymore. I don't think that's going to be. I don't think all of a sudden they're a very good team. But listen, but I think Washington was a very good team. Washington hung 38 on them. This Bengals defense has real problems right now. And Cam Taylor-Britt can talk all the shit he wants and keep getting cooked in these games. And he's a good player, by the way. He is a legitimate good player, but he's kind of gotten out ahead of himself a little bit. But so I am not going to write off the Bengals. What I am going to say is this. Going into their their second meeting with Baltimore, which is week 10, they need to be a minimum of 4-5, which means they got to go 4-2 through there, and probably have to be 5-4. So what they have is Carolina, Baltimore, New York, Cleveland, Philly, Vegas. So that's their next 6. So they have to go at least 4-2 and probably 5-1. I just think they can do that. So I'm not going to write them off entirely.
But you could also say they could lose all of those games.
So
those are all very losable games, it sounds like.
Well, listen, when you lose to the Patriots, every game's losable. And on its merits, Damonza, you're right. I think a lot of people are prone early in the NFL season to overreaction. I might be prone a bit to underreaction. I might be really anchored by my preseason priors to a degree that, yes, I mean, the only winless teams in the league, is it at this point, is it just Tennessee and the Bengals? Oh, and the Jags, Jesus. Jags. Yeah, Tennessee, the Bengals, and the Jags are the only winless teams. So you're right. Like, I can't, every team that I listed that I say stinks has more wins than the Bengals do. I get that, but seeing the offense move the way it did yesterday, when that's what they have to be, it's why I am not going to just say they're dead in the water. What I want to see is what Vegas thinks right now. Vegas right now, oh, Steelers fans have to be furious about this. The Bengals right now have better odds to win the AFC than the 3-0 Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah,
that's got to be, yeah. 0-3 Bengals, 3-0 Steelers. So right now, odds to win the AFC, the Chiefs plus 240, the Bills, more on them in a moment, plus 390, the Ravens plus 650, the Texans plus 700, the Jets plus 950, and then the only two teams that aren't at least 35-1 are the Bengals at 16-1 and the Steelers at 17-1. So I don't think the Bengals are dead yet, but my goodness gracious, they are on absolute life support.
Did that game last night change your opinion on Jaden Daniels at all?
So I want my opinion on Jaden to be very clear, which is I never doubted the kid's talent. My concerns about Jaden Daniels were twofold. He's far too skinny and a little on the old side. And that was, when I say a little on the old side, what I mean is he played college football for so long, he turns 24 in a couple months. So that was a little concerning, but the real concern was, is he going to be able to stay is he going to be durable enough? Is he going to take too much punishment? Because it's not only that he was one of the skinniest quarterbacks I'd ever seen go in the first round, he also took massive hits in his college career, almost like cartoonish hits, sometimes running the football. But I watched him at LSU win the damn Heisman, and I like Heisman Trophy winners in general. I like Baker. I like Trevor, never won it. He could have. Caleb, obviously. So I am predisposed to excellent college quarterbacks in that regard. What he did last night, though, he is better than I thought he would be, and he is better quicker than I thought he would be. That's 2 games in a row now where they don't punt. Against the Giants, it was field goals every time, but they scored on 7 drives. Last night, they scored every time. And so that is and that pass to McLaurin when he was taking a massive hit to win the damn football game is one of the plays of the year in the NFL. And if you remember before the season, one of the reasons I picked Washington to finish second in the NFC East was because I thought Jaden could be good this year. I worry about his long-term viability, and I still worry about that. But right now, he has been head and shoulders the most impressive rookie quarterback. That's not even a question. As much as I love Caleb, that's not a debate who's been more impressive right now, Jaden or Caleb. Now, I also don't think it's a debate right now on if the Bears made the right choice. I think Caleb is going to be the better player of the two and have the longer career of the two. But through 3 games, Jaden's been spectacular. He's gotten better every week, and last night, he was a superstar.
Missed 2 incompleted passes total.
I mean, it's a record for a rookie to throw at least 20 passes, have over 90% completions. It also, if you remove rookies, just those numbers he put up, 21 of 23, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for another touchdown and another 39 yards. I mean, that is a brilliant game of quarterbacking. Yeah. And so if you're the Commanders now, your next 2, Cardinals, Browns. So the Cardinals' defense is not very good. The Browns' offense is miserable. I mean, I can go past that. The Washington's next half dozen games, Cardinals, Browns, Ravens. That's a tough one, but that'll be fun. Jaden and Lamar. That'll be really fun. See,
that's fair.
And then after that, Panthers, Bears, Giants. So, Washington, keep an eye on them now. Now, the schedule gets way tougher later in the year. They haven't played any of their divisional games. They have 4 games against the Eagles and Cowboys second half of the season, along with games against the Steelers, Saints, Falcons, and a Titans game. That's fine. But they could get out to a hot start. And Jaden, there's going to be no hate from me on Jaden. There's nothing to hate on with that performance last night. That was, through 3 weeks, it's no question. Through 3 weeks, the only person who's in the argument is Neighbors. Right now, Neighbors, Neighbors been, the week ago he was pretty good too, but he had the big drop. But right now, I would think, and I don't know if the producers, because I can't get individual player award odds. It's like a weird New York thing, I think. They won't show up. I would guess the odds for Offensive Rookie of the Year, Damonza, go like this right now. Jaden, a big favorite, followed by Neighbors, followed by Marvin Harrison Jr., followed by Caleb. I would think those are the top 4, and then a very significant drop-off after that. If they put that in the doc, I'll respond to it. Okay, they're in there now? Oh, there they are. It is exactly what I guessed would be.
Yeah, I'm reading it.
No, it's left to right. Yeah. Jaden at plus 150, Neighbors at plus 250, Marvin at plus 350, Caleb at plus 650. And that makes sense. And Caleb, we'll talk Caleb later in the show.
I got him at
Caleb
plus
is
500.
not so much based on... Caleb is not so much based on how he's played to this moment, more based on the projection. Similar to league MVP odds, right now Mahomes is second. That's not based on how he's played to now. It's that we're 3 of 18 weeks through, and they think Mahomes will play better. All right, now to the MVP favorite, Josh Allen and the Bills. Go ahead.
Yeah, to that blowout. First off, do you need any time to mourn the fall of the prince that was promised? Understand that was an unfortunate
I do.
one.
Well, it's 8 straight losses, and this is an ultimate life comes at you fast moment. So it was November. It was less than a year ago that Trevor was coming off delivering the Jags their first playoff victory in a half decade, en route to delivering them their first back-to-back winning seasons in 2 decades, sitting at 8-3, playing for the 1 seed that night on Monday Night Football. Since then, he hasn't won a game and has not only not improved, seemingly regressed. The pick to Damar Hamlin was as bad of a throw as any veteran quarterback will make all year. He wasn't pressured. He wasn't panicked. The guy was wide open, and he just missed him by 5 yards. Just absolutely brutal. So I'm going to make a plea to the Jacksonville Jaguars organization that is out of the box and unprecedented, because we have seen coach firings mid-year and early. And when that happens, they upgrade, they promote someone on the staff to interim head coach. That's not what I'm asking for here. I am asking the Jacksonville Jaguars to fire Doug Peterson and immediately, as of that day, hire Belichick. And tell Belichick, you know what, Bill? You can be the one to tell Doug he's fired. He beat you in a Super Bowl. I'm sure you have a little want to get back from that. And let him take over, and Balky's out too, the organization. Because I still believe in the talent of Trevor Lawrence. But everything about the Jags right now is a mess. Trevor's play is a mess. The roster is a mess. The coaching is a mess. They had 2 incredibly winnable football games in weeks 1 and 2. They found ways to lose both of them. And then they came out last night and got embarrassed and annihilated. And I don't know what can fix that, but if anything can, it's the greatest coach of all time. I know Bill will have to resign from a half dozen media opportunities, but I also know he wants to be coaching and probably would rather not wait a full year. I get what I'm saying right now is not realistic and unprecedented for someone to come in from outside the organization mid-season. But the prince is drowning. And I want to make it clear, I am not putting all of this or even most of this on Doug Peterson. I think Trevor has been bad. He hasn't been mid. He's been bad. There's no denying it. He also is, remember what I was saying about the age thing? He also is 24 years old. He's 24. I just told you Jaden Daniels turns 24 in a couple months. Trevor's 24. I know how talented he is, and we've seen the flashes. But at year 4 with that salary, that contract, it's got to be more than flashes. There's no escaping that. And so I hate everything about the offense. I hate the way he's playing. And Peterson seems resigned to his fate. And if anything could get Bill Belichick excited, it would be to vanquish one of the guys who beat him in a Super Bowl and take over a team that's underachieved with an excellent quarterback. But at this point, I don't know what to tell you. I know people want me to say I was wrong about Trevor. Up to this point, I have been wrong. I think he's got all the traits and all the talent of an excellent quarterback. But you get this deep into your career, you need to produce like one. And he has not done that. And now he is paid like one. And now he's going to be on his 3rd head coach and his 3rd offensive coordinator. And this is how shit goes sideways on guys. So I always, and I can't believe I'm going to make this comp. And it's not a fair comp to Trevor because this player never had, the success Trevor did, the season he had in year 2, the playoff win, all of that. But, time is a flat circle. And it would be somewhat poetic if, much like my professional mentor, Colin Cowherd, has Sam Darnold, the top 3 pick, amazing college player who he simply cannot quit, who 8 years into his career, he's now like, I told you this was in him. And I mock him for not being able to, let go of it. Maybe that'll be Trevor for me. Maybe in 6 years I'll be on TV and Trevor will be, who knows? But I'm not defending him. And I get that the audience right now thinks this is going to be my loudest and wrongest classic 3. I still believe in the player. But there is no basis to defend the player or the team, which right now looks like a helpless and hopeless team. Was that enough? Did I take my 30 lashes there? Or can we move on to the Bills? Okay,
that was a morning.
Go ahead.
Through. On to the Bills side of it. Are you ready to say that the Bills are the Chiefs' only competition in the AFC?
Well, here's what I will say. Oh yeah, no, they're good. They're good. And this is where folks are going to get really annoyed with me. And when not Bills fans, but the other media members. I can't believe you guys overcorrected on the Bills. Like, the whole world for years had been too high on the Bills, so I got to be arrogant and annoying and mocked everyone and then be proven right. And then somehow, seemingly everyone except for maybe Greg Rosenthal was like, well, they're not even the best team in the AFC East. They could miss the playoffs. And all offseason, I said, they're still clearly the best team in the AFC East. And this version of Josh Allen is still a terrifying version of Josh Allen, and they're going to be fine. And now I do fear today we are now going to overcorrect in the other direction, where I think you're going to see a bunch, Damonza. You're going to see a lot of power rankings that have the Bills as the best team in the NFL. Now, that's obviously dumb and a bridge too far, but it's fine to call them second. You're going to see some quarterback rankings that have Josh Allen as the best quarterback in the league. Now, that's going to be dumb and too far, but it's totally fair to call him second. I am going to say something that Bills fans are going to love to hear. There are some striking similarities between this Bills team and this version of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs from 2 years ago. So Mahomes and the Chiefs 2 years ago had come off two heart-wrenching playoff defeats. A Super Bowl loss where they got destroyed, and a home AFC championship loss that they felt like they blew the game. And then in the offseason, they traded Tyreek Hill, and people really wondered, oh man, are the Chiefs in the midst of a rebuild, retool on the fly? The Buffalo Bills, 2 years prior, get blasted in the playoffs by the Bengals, embarrassingly. Last year, an absolutely gut-wrenching 3-point home playoff loss. They trade Diggs. They retool. People question, are they rebuilding? The Chiefs that year won 14 games. Mahomes won league MVP. They had the highest scoring offense in all of football. They won the Super Bowl. Josh Allen this year. Right now, he's the MVP. They have the highest scoring team in the league. They're undefeated. There are a lot of similarities. And I'm not going to ignore them or pretend they're not there. I'm not even going to congratulate the Bills this week on winning their third straight September championship, which was a lock that was going to happen. They are a dominant September team, and we've talked about that. All I'm saying is, and I've said this before. Oh, man. Okay, am I back? We're good. Okay. The Bills, when they put the game in Josh Allen's hands and let him run, they're terrifying. Now, it's terrifying in both directions because you worry he's going to get banged up. But when they do that, they are as dangerous as any team in the league. And so I've got this Bills team was considered, they're good but not great by almost everyone before the year. I disagreed with them then. I thought it was insulting that the Jets were the favorites to win the AFC East. And yeah, I'm going to make this point on TV today in full, and Bills fans are going to be shocked by it. There are a lot of similarities between the 2024 Buffalo Bills and the 2022 Kansas City Chiefs that ended up having the highest scoring offense in the league MVP at quarterback, and they did win the Super Bowl. So, Just something to keep in mind. All right, speaking of the Chiefs, go ahead.
Speaking of the Chiefs, these guys just keep finding ways to win no matter how difficult the circumstances. That or the refs had them in a parlay. You infamously predicted the Chiefs going 20-0 last year. Do you think it's possible that you were just a year early on that prediction?
No, I don't think they're going to go undefeated. But here's what I do think, and I'll be quick. Listen, if you want to bitch about the refs, if you're going to have your mind warped by the anonymous Twitter accounts and the stupid Twitter algorithm that just feeds you missed calls and act like that same feed is not showing you that on the Falcons touchdown drive, it was extended after a third and long incompletion. There was a phantom roughing the passer penalty. Or if you want to act like we didn't see last year the single most egregious missed defensive pass interference penalty of the season happen in the Packers-Chiefs game that Damonza, you and I watched from Wayne's house in Los Angeles. And if you want to act like we didn't just see a damn Monday Night Football game last night, we're on a critical 2-point conversion, the exact type of pass interference that was committed by the Chiefs with 4 minutes left was committed by Washington in the end zone there. Those calls get missed. And lastly, if you want to pretend that if they had called that pass interference and then if if Atlanta had scored and gone up by either one or and if they got the 2-point conversion, that you really believe in your heart of hearts that Patrick Mahomes getting the ball back down 3 with 4 minutes left means, the Falcons were going to win, then go ahead, live your life that way. I think it's a dumb way to consume sports. I also think this. The Chiefs haven't played a great game. They played pretty well for most of the Baltimore game. They played poorly against Cincinnati. They had moments against Atlanta. Mahomes hasn't had a great season. He played really well, save one pass against Baltimore, played terribly against Cincinnati, was hit or miss against Atlanta. Travis Kelce hasn't done anything. Isaiah Pacheco is out injured. All of these things are true. They have also had one of, preseason rankings-wise, the hardest schedule of anyone to open the season. They haven't played well, incredibly hard schedule, dealing with injuries, and they're undefeated. And so here's the thing about the Chiefs. They don't lose. It might not be pretty. It might not be the way you're used to it. But you take every other, we did this yesterday on the show, the biggest Super Bowl contenders, right? So who Vegas thinks the best teams are after the Chiefs. Niners, Bills, Eagles, Ravens, Lions, Texans, Cowboys. Since the Chiefs last lost, because the Chiefs have won 9 in a row, those 7 teams, those 6 teams, pardon me. Oh, and the Bengals, include them in that. Those 7 teams are 26 and 22, while the Chiefs are 9 and 0. And I say that to say this, other teams lose, and the Chiefs have this crazy ability not to lose, which is what makes them great. And unless they have to play a Chiefs team of a previous era, comparing them to previous Chiefs teams is kind of foolish. Against today's NFL, we'll see what the Bills turn into. Right now, they look great. The Chiefs also have a decided massive psychological edge over Buffalo, and we'll see how that plays out. But no one else in the league is within spitting distance of this team. The Bengals are falling apart. The Texans haven't looked good on both sides of the ball once all year. Week 1, the offense looked great. The defense looked terrible. Week 2, the defense looked excellent. The offense looked mediocre. Week 3, they looked bad in both spots. The Niners are falling apart. The Eagles might have the single most clueless coach in the league today. The Lions, Jared Goff is Jared Goffing a bit lately. The Ravens are hanging on by a thread. There's nobody out there. The Bills have my attention and my respect. Everybody else, you're playing for a bronze medal. And so say all you want about the Chiefs and how lucky they are. It's crazy how the team with the best quarterback, the best coach, most well-prepared, most well-rounded roster, they're also the luckiest. It's crazy how that works out. But we'll see you in January when the games actually matter for Kansas City when they finish the year around 14-3. Next.
Yeah, so my Ravens season was on the line down in Dallas, and they went there and they took care of business for at least 3 quarters. So a win is a win, but why do the Ravens keep not being able to take care of business down the stretch late in these games?
I don't know, man. I don't know. This was a weird one because this wasn't – the comeback was not on Lamar and the offense at all. Lamar – it's 28-6, okay, Damonza? He gets them in field goal range. And Justin Tucker misses it because a sneaky big story of this season is Justin Tucker might be cooked. And Justin Tucker is, I mean, ever since Travis Kelce tossed his helmet, he seems to have snatched his soul. I don't know what's happened to him, but he's not the same guy.
Loud
so
for a kicker.
He misses that kick. Yeah.
Best.
So, but here he was the greatest kicker of all time. Yes. But here's the point I'm making. Lamar puts him in position, Damonza, to go up 4 scores. It's 28-6. A field goal puts you up 31-6. Put the hay in the barn, game over. Between that moment and when it was 28-25, Lamar threw 1 pass. It went like this. Touchdown Dallas. Onside kick, recovered. Touchdown Dallas. Onside kick not recovered. Ravens get the ball. Run. Lamar incompletion. Touchdown Dallas. So that's not on the offense. The defense allowed 3 straight scores, and the special teams allowed a onside kick recovery. What Lamar should feel great about is everyone's focusing on the run to ice the game. And that was a great play by Lamar. But if he doesn't pick that up, Damonza, the Cowboys are getting and they don't pick up the next one. The Cowboys are getting the ball back with like 30 seconds left. Down 3. Now, Aubrey can kick from 80, it seems like. But they're still okay. It was the series before when I was like, oh my God, the Ravens are going to lose in the most devastating fashion imaginable. We were north of the 2-minute warning. The Cowboys had timeouts. It was 3rd and 6. And if the Ravens don't pick that up, I believe they lose that game. Because I think the Cowboys, with that much time, the way they had been marching down the field, were gonna go score.
It's fair to say.
And Lamar threw a perfect pass to Zay Flowers on the sideline to pick up the first down. So Lamar did his thing. Derrick Henry did his thing. This defense is shaky. The receiving core is shaky. Mark Andrews has not shown up yet this year, and Isaiah likely hasn't shown up since week 1. So I want to give Lamar massive credit. I thought he played awesome and Derrick Henry was awesome. But the Ravens are... That looked like the type of win that was going to restore all confidence. Then they did a very Ravensy thing, which is almost blow another huge lead. And so I'm not writing them off, of course. And I was wrong because I picked the Cowboys to win. And the Cowboys, just got run all over for 3 quarters and their offense could do nothing until the end. But that was a little Jekyll and Hyde from the Ravens there. All right, let's go last topic of the block.
So despite Nick Sirianni's best efforts to throw the game, the Eagles still get the win over the Saints. You've been on Nick Sirianni's coaching decisions for a while now. How soon do you think it is before they get him out of the building and get Belichick in there?
Well, I mean, they are 2-1. So, I mean, I don't think, his job is safe for now. But Nick Sirianni doesn't call the defense. Nick Sirianni doesn't call the offense anymore. So his job is game management. And he's been brutal at it. Brutal at it this year. We talked ad nauseum about how ridiculous of a decision he made with the pass and then field goal in the Falcons game. Somehow I think what he did before the half of this Saints game was worse. If people weren't paying attention, let me set the scene. The Eagles have the ball around the 15-yard line. There is 14 seconds left. They have one timeout. It is 4th and 1. The score is 3-0. In that spot, it is 100% of the time the most obvious field goal you've ever seen. Why? Well, because there's 14 seconds left, you have one timeout. So if you go for it and it works and you get it, you're almost assuredly still just kicking a field goal. Play it out. You go for it. You get it. You use your last timeout. You now have 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line with 10 seconds left. Yeah, I suppose you get one shot into the end zone, but that is an easy play to defend when the other team knows you can't come up short of the end zone. You can't take a sack because you have no timeouts. And then you just kick a field goal. Instead, he went for it seemingly on a tush push, but it was an end around to Barkley. He gets stuffed, and they get no points. I'm all for risk-reward decisions if the risk and the reward are properly accounted for. This is the second time in 2 weeks Nick Sirianni has made a decision that is all risk, no reward. If you pick that up, you're still almost assuredly just kicking a field goal. And if you don't pick it up, you lose 3 points. So I think he's pressing, and I think he's in over his head. And the Eagles defense, shout out to them, they played a good game. Jalen Hurts, man, that's another bad turnover for him. We're now at 6 turnovers through 3 weeks for Jalen. So I don't believe in the Eagles. I don't believe in their coach. And I'm starting not to believe in their quarterback. Quick break, right back. What's right? Welcome back in. What's right with Nick Wright? And let me remind you guys, I love to travel. Whether I'm heading out for work or vacation, or maybe just want to drop into Kansas City to see a game, I'm always looking for the best places to stay. And that's why I turn to Airbnb. Anytime I stay at an Airbnb, I'm reminded how great of an idea it is to Airbnb your home while you're away. Maybe you yourself have stayed in Airbnb before and thought, hey, you know what? I could easily turn my space into an Airbnb. Now that football season is back, lots of fans will be traveling to catch a game. You could Airbnb your home or extra room and make some extra money while people are in town for the game. Whether you use that money for tickets to go cheer on your favorite team or something else entirely, your home might be worth more than you think. Your home might be worth more than you think with Airbnb. Damonza, before we get back to the show, I surprisingly, I didn't realize it, but a clip from this show went like semi-viral with the Swifties in a negative way because they're very mad that they think I'm writing off Travis Kelce. And I think that it is a misunderstanding of what I think is a smart use of the oldest skill position player in the league by far. And when I say the oldest by far, like I don't think people also understand the spot we're in with Kelce. The only guy close to his age is Adam Thielen. And what happened to Adam Thielen this week, by the way? Adam Thielen had an unbelievable catch, but he had to all-out sprint for it and ended up, instead of celebrating his touchdown, holding his hamstring because 34-year-old wide receiver is just not a thing, really. And Travis Kelce, as we've discussed, is the same age as Gronk, who retired for the first time 6 years ago. Travis Kelce in a month is going to be playing the Bills. Gronk in a month is going to be enjoying the second year of his second retirement, playing poker with me in Vegas. This is what we're dealing with here. And so when I said I think he has 6 to 10 excellent games left in him, the point that I am making is not that he has 6 to 10 games left in him. It's that Kelce doing what he did in the playoffs was, to me, not a coincidence that it was the playoffs. Meaning, last year, he didn't have many huge games and then went 4 for 4 in kicking ass in the playoffs. I think what it takes to get his body ready and to perform at that level for 3.5 hours consistently is something he flatly cannot do every week anymore. It's why guys don't play this position at this age hardly ever. And so I think that they are, and he is, running on a governor right now, because I also think he might want to play not just this year, but one more year. So if he has 2 years left, then he should, theoretically, he absolutely should be judicious with how often he hits the accelerator to the floor. And it's not a bad thing for the Chiefs early on in a season to figure out how not to be so Kelce reliant. And so I don't think it's a bad thing, and I don't think it's surprising that this is where Travis is, where in the playoffs, he was the best weapon in football. That was a few months ago. I don't think he has drastically changed his caliber as a player from a few months ago. I think he is just ramping up to that, and I think that's the smart thing to do. All right, next. Let's go to our next topic.
Things are not looking too hot for your NFC pick and Caleb Williams. Meanwhile, Justin Fields is undefeated over there in Pittsburgh. So who's the most to blame for what's happening in Chicago? Caleb, the coaching staff, or Nick Wright for piling on the pressure, saying they were going to go to the Super Bowl?
Well, listen, it's the pressure thing's nonsense. Right now, Caleb's gotten markedly better in each game. I thought week 3 was a super promising rookie performance. Obviously wasn't what Jaden Daniels did last night, but meaning he made some big-time throws. He finally had statistically a big-time game. He hung tough in the pocket, also made a couple terrible mistakes, and that's kind of what you expect early on for a rookie. Right now, you want to put the first 2 weeks, well, they won week 1, but Caleb was awful. Week 2, they could have won, but he wasn't that good. Week 3, the mistakes, yes, listen, he made one terrible pick down the sideline trying to do too much. The other one he got a little unlucky on. The strip sack, got to have more awareness. Also, just a whiff block by the tight end on the D end. But the Bears not being able to run the ball on the Colts, who were giving up 240 yards per game rushing, is absolutely categorically insane. And the Bears right now, offensive play design and coaching staff is driving me nuts. The shit they were doing at the goal line, running a speed option, like all of that, the offensive coaching for the Bears and the lack of a running game in this last game against the Colts is an abomination. The defense has been awesome. Caleb has been not quite as good as I thought he would be initially, but he's been fine. My Bears' belief was that early in the year, they had a super soft schedule. Caleb could go through his struggles early, get better and better and better. My hope, though, was that through 3 weeks, they'd be 2-1, that they'd beat the Titans and that they'd beat the Colts, probably lose in Houston. Losing this Colts game is painful, and it means they've got to steal one back. If people right now, the stock's at a bit of a low, want to sell me some more Caleb Williams stock, I'll take it. He went from like 70 yards passing to 120 yards passing to 360 yards passing. It's exponential growth. So I'm okay with where Caleb is at, but the offensive line and the offensive coaching has been highly problematic. All right, let's go to all in or fold.
Today we are going to play all in or fold. First off, got a little Steelers situation over here with Russell Wilson still injured. Justin Fields is taking QB1 reins in Pittsburgh and doesn't look like he's going to be giving that job back. All in or fold, Fields leads Pittsburgh to the playoffs.
I know this isn't the game, but I'm going to do neither.
3-0.
So I'm certainly not all in on him leading them to the playoffs, but I think right now it's a coin flip. Now, I do think he's going to be their quarterback the rest of the year. I do think that. And this Steelers defense is awesome. So if I had to pick a side right now, I would say, yeah, they make it. However, you know what? I don't know if that's the case, that I feel that way.
Got
the more I think about
faith in Cincinnati, but Pittsburgh is just not going to the playoffs.
Well, right. No, that's just what I was about to say.
Same thing Vegas says, though.
I don't even know I bet so here's what's weird. Vegas believes in Cincinnati more as a Super Bowl team than Pittsburgh, but I'm guessing they have Pittsburgh better playoff odds. I'm going to check right now. Pittsburgh to make the playoffs is minus 140. Cincinnati to make the playoffs is plus 122. So those two things might sound incongruous to you. So let me just explain it. Vegas thinks it's more likely that Pittsburgh is a playoff team, but not by a ton. But they also clearly believe if Cincinnati makes the playoffs, they are way more likely to be a viable contender than Pittsburgh is. So that's how a team that has somewhat significantly worse odds to make the playoffs has better odds to win the actual Super Bowl. But that is my problem, Damonza. I don't think 3 AFC North teams are making the playoffs. They did last year, I understand. I don't think that's happening again. So if that doesn't happen again, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, even though Pittsburgh's 3-0 and the other teams are combined 1-5, I still don't know how I feel about Pittsburgh being able to hold on. I do think Fields is going to be able to hold on to the job. All right, next.
All right, the Anthony Richardson experience is not for the faint of heart. But, hey, he was still good enough to beat Caleb Williams. His potential is there, but he's completing under 50% of his passes at the moment. All in or fold, Anthony Richardson is a quarterback one.
Oh, no, he is a starting quarterback in this league. I'm all in on that. Here's the thing. This is his rookie year. I know it's not, but it is. He played 2.5 games, the equivalent of 2.5 games last year. His raw physical talent is so remarkable that you're just going to have to deal with, at least this season, the growing pains of, can he become an accurate quarterback? The pick he threw in the end zone was egregious. He has made some terrible decisions, and his accuracy is awful. But you don't draft a guy in the top 5, you know what I mean, and not give him at least 2 seasons unless it's Bryce Young level bad. And so I'm not Trey Lance is a different example because you're right. Trey Lance, they sat his first year, then his second year he broke his leg, and you know what I mean? So he was in a different and they had their quarterback. So you're right, Trey Lance, they did do it too, but the Colts are not in that spot where it's like
right. You got a chance to come back.
Richardson got hurt, but they don't. Right, they had a chance to come back, and Richardson also had more college, not a lot more, but more college tape than Trey, and at least he played D1. Trey is kind of an outlier situation, and there's no Brock Purdy in Indianapolis. All right, next.
The 3-0 Vikings face the 2-1 Packers, who have been led by Sam Darnold and Malik Willis. All in their fold, LaFleur or O'Connell wins Coach of the Year.
Oh, I like that. Let me think. I'm trying to think of the other possible contenders. Dan Quinn, all of a sudden a sneaky contender, depending on what Washington does. Mike McDonald and Mike Tomlin, sneaky contenders. Oh my God, Big Bob Sala's 14-1. I will not be placing that bet. But listen, the spirit of the question is I think LaFleur and O'Connell have done a remarkable job. So I think they have both done spectacular jobs. All right, next.
Everyone was busy all offseason talking up the Rams and Niners, but Seattle is undefeated and Arizona looks pretty solid. All in their fold, San Francisco wins the NFC West.
I'm sure they're still the favorites for it. Looking at it right now, let me see. Yeah, they are. They're even money. Seattle's 2-1, Arizona 5-1, the Rams 8-1. Seattle's good. I think some of what we've seen from Seattle is good coaching. Geno's played great. Some of it is Broncos, Patriots, Dolphins. That's the 3 teams they've played. San Francisco, the injuries are just mounting and mounting and mounting. And the Rams were the one team more injured, and the Rams just stole a victory from them. It's not on Purdy. Purdy played very well in that game. That was an egregious loss. A truly horrifying loss for San Francisco. They're still probably the smart money bet to win the division, but it's not a bet I would make. All right, last.
Andy Dalton led the Panthers to a road win against the Raiders, and apparently teams have already started asking to trade for Bryce Young. All in or fold, Bryce can thrive elsewhere.
Fold. I don't want to pile on the kid, but no, he's not going to thrive. He doesn't have NFL traits. And I've said it. I should have taken this question out because I feel mean. He doesn't have NFL traits. I don't blame him. It's not his fault, but he just doesn't. I hope he can catch on somewhere as a backup, but he's not an NFL starting quarterback. He's just not. Quick break, right back with listener questions. What's right? Oh, this is a crazy stat real quick. Ian Hartitz just tweeted, only 3 players have 300-plus air yards over the last 2 weeks, meaning catches that have... Wait, could that be right? Hold on. I know that's what it says, but that doesn't even... Hold on. I just don't want to read someone's incorrect. Okay, so I don't know what this stat means. No, it's not that because this guy's a real... a real account, but that usually has good information. He said, maybe I don't understand. You know what? I'm taking it back. I'm not even reading the tweet because it doesn't seem like it either. I don't understand it. It was a stat that said Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, and Rome Odunze are doing something the last couple of weeks no other receivers are doing, but I clearly am misreading it or don't understand what it's saying. All right, let's get to the listener questions. They're both all had really good week 3s, though. Go ahead.
Joe Schmo says Trevor Lawrence should henceforth be known as the Squire. He's been demoted until further notice. Maybe Reek.
Oh, Reek. Wow, that's a good pull. Next. It's not even a question. Just
Nick,
a mean comment.
Nick Adams, honest question. Why has Joe Burrow gotten so much more benefit of the doubt than Jalen Hurts? Their resumes are very similar. Burrow is very good, but outside of one season is not equated to winning.
Well, by outside of one season, you mean 2 seasons. It's a good take. I mean, it's 2 seasons. He went to a Super Bowl, and then he went to an AFC Championship game a year they won 12 or 13 games. So, yeah, if Jalen has 1 excellent season, Joe has 2 excellent seasons. So that might not seem like a lot more, but it's double. And it also, I think, is the fact what, Damonza? What? I mean, it's double.
Yeah.
It's twice as many. I mean, the difference between 1 and 2 is significantly more than the difference between 8 and 9. Like, I understand it's like, well, it's actually just 1 more than the other. Yeah, but comparatively speaking, it is significantly
it's the
more.
Ratio.
Also yes, correct. Also the fact that I think Burrow was a far, far better college player, and the number 1 pick of the draft versus second round pick certainly helps him. Next.
Justin Jones says, I bet the over 6.5 on games Taylor Swift attends. She's already been to 2. If they make the playoffs, I win that bet for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's going to probably go to almost all the home games. So, I think that's a smart. She will go to, and if they make the playoffs, the hell are you talking about? Are they going to cancel the playoffs this year? She'll go to all the playoff games. And so, yeah, that's a smart bet. Next.
Jay asks, which teams do you think Sanders will have the most impact on, and which do you think would be the best for him?
I mean, I'd like to see him on the Giants. I assume we're talking about Shedeur Sanders. Listen, I don't know that I love him as a super high first round pick, but if that's the implication of the question, I would say the Giants. Next.
Christian Lazo or Lazo. Nick, start, bench, cut, Purdy, Trevor, and Richardson.
Start, bench, cut, Purdy, Trevor, and Richardson. No, I won't. I won't play that game. I actually won't play that game today. That is too mean, and you guys are going to force my... I mean, the right answer is you start Purdy, Trevor? You bench Trevor, and you cut Richardson is the right answer right now. But I don't want I don't want to participate in that. Next.
Damonza, are you playing intramural basketball at school or any rec league basketball this season? If so, how is your team? No, I just play straight pickup at the gym. See random guys.
Are you able to play pickup again?
Yeah. Very well.
Really?
1,000%.
Wow.
I mean,
this is a remarkable Achilles tendon recovery.
Yeah, 1,000%.
And does your Achilles bother you at all?
It does not at all. If anything, the ankle that I broke my ankle on like 2 years ago gives me fits. Like, it tightens up. But no, my Achilles feels good.
But that's the other leg?
Yeah, it's my right foot. And I tore my Achilles on the left.
I've never seen something like... So you tore your Achilles in
January, like January 26th or something like that.
Okay, in January of this year.
Yeah.
And you've been playing ball for the last month and a half?
Probably like two and a half months, to be honest. Probably 2 months.
That's awesome, man. That makes me so happy. That also is the second... I mean, again, knock on wood, and I believe you're going to stay healthy. But that's the second significant injury that an initial opinion from a doctor was surgery. A second opinion from a doctor was don't have surgery. That I think you're definitively glad you did not have the surgery.
1,000%. There's no way I played basketball a month ago, 2 months ago if I had gotten the surgery.
No. Are you kidding me? No. I mean, only Aaron Rodgers can play competitive sports a couple months after Achilles surgery. You ain't him, man. You're not listening to dolphin videos. All right, good show. Good job. That makes me so happy, Damonza. Call your mother. All right, talk to you guys later. I'll see you on Colin. I'll see you on the show. See you guys. What's right? Hey, thanks for watching. If you're still here, do me a favor. hit the subscribe button, then hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes. After you've done that, one more favor, go to your favorite audio platform of choice and subscribe there as well. Don't forget, we're live every Tuesday and Thursday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern-ish. 10:35, 10:40, it sometimes changes, but that's why you hit the bell. You hit the bell so you're notified. You subscribe so we can get to 200,000 followers. We're right around 150,000. We'd love to get to 200,000, get Damonza another plaque. So like, subscribe, rate, send a rating too. Do all that cool stuff. Thanks, guys.